Now, I would like to invite our chief guest to officially inaugurate the conference. Our chief guest, as you all know, is Professor Dr. Muhammad Akhtaruzzaman. He is a Bangladeshi academic, currently the 28th vice-chancellor of the University of Dhaka. Prior to this position, he served in different academic, administrative, and co-curricular development activities at the University of Dhaka, including the Pro-Vice-Chancellor Administration, Dean, Faculty of Arts, Chairman, Department of Islamic History and Culture, and Provost of the Kovin Joshimuddin Hall, University of Dhaka. Let's welcome our chief guest to give his valuable speech. Thank you.
Conference Chair, Professor Umesh Sharma from Monash University, Australia. My fellow colleagues, Professor Akhtaruzzaman, who was the former Vice-Chancellor of Noakhali Science and Technology University, and one of the senior professors at the University of Dhaka, particularly in the Institute of Education and Research. Professor Dr. Muhammad Abdul Halim, the Director of IER. And I am very delighted to see Professor Sayyid Manzurul Islam, the noted educationist of this country, who is acclaimed both home and abroad, and the former Director General, Professor Dr. Sayyid Ghulam Farooq, the former Director General of Secondary and Higher Education Directorate, distinguished members of the audience, very good morning and Assalamu alaikum. At the outset, let me congratulate you all on this special occasion, because this event is especially designed to hold the conference on a very special issue, that equity and inclusive. These two terms is highly appropriate to address SDG, particularly its goal number 4. Goal 4 clearly states to ensure quality, inclusive education for all. Equitable, quality, inclusive education. That is the dictation of goal 4. And Bangladesh, as one of the signatories of this convention, of this protocol, is highly determined to achieve all the 17 goals of sustainable developments by 2030. And it is well claimed by all hands globally. The Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has made very tangible progress in achieving SDGs. And today, the International Conference on Equity and Inclusion, jointly organized by different entities, what should I say, particularly the Center of International Inclusive Education, Bangladesh chapter, and its other partners of different categories, organizing partners, contributing partners, technical partners, and implementing entities. So it is the need of the time, because I would like to recall one of the important speeches made by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan. Kofi Annan, in one of his speeches, told, quote, more than ever before in human history, we share a common destiny which we can master if we face it together. So now we are really sharing a common destiny, and the common destiny will be the ensuring of inclusive, equitable, and quality education. And if we want to ensure this goal, we need to have collaborate with each others, and that would be the appropriate way of doing things. And today, Asian Center for Inclusive Education is doing the same thing. I congratulate all the participating and implementing entities who are collaborating with Asian Center for Inclusive Education, and particularly its Bangladesh chapter led by Professor Tariq Hassan, who is one of the senior professors at the Institute of Education and Research. Professor Tariq Hassan briefed me about the overall activities of the Asian Center of Inclusive Education, and that is why I have been inspired to come over here to learn something, because at university level we have also to do something to ensure the government's efforts to implement the goal 4. University has to play the greater role. Let me also recall the fundamental principles that the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib, used to hold during the tenure of his running the state, as well as the running the whole nation before we were making our war of independence to a successful stage. He just brought all the nation, he got the nation united with some values, and that value includes secularism, humanities, and democracy. So all these values basically are in a sense is very equitable. Bangabandhu in his 7 March speech told that the Bengalis want freedom, they want to remain alive, they want rights. These are the indicative to all the equitable and inclusive society, and that was the core message of the war of liberation, our independence. These were the values that got the whole people of Bengali nation united. So today, when we talk about inclusiveness, when we talk about equity, then naturally it leads us to recall the great sayings of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib. And immediately after independence, Bangabandhu tried to ensure inclusive education by nationalizing 36,000 primary schools, and that was the genesis of the inclusive policy implementation, because that ensured the equal participation of all the learners that got enrolled, all the children, irrespective of ethnic background, socio-economic conditions, religious background, irrespective of all identities. Every children got equal opportunity to get enrolled in primary education, and that was certainly the stepping stone, that was certainly the foundational phase of the implementation of equitable and inclusive education. And today, when we celebrate our Golden Jubilee celebration, Golden Jubilee of our independence, then we can take special pride in declaring that today we have 73% literacy rate. That has been possible just following the policies and guidelines that the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib, had initiated back in early 70s during his tenure from 1972 to 1975. Especially at the university stage, we can very happily declare that Dhaka University tries to ensure quality, equitable, and inclusive education, because university facilities are open to all students from whatever backgrounds they are coming from, but it is equitable, it is inclusive. It is also to be noted that in Bangladesh tertiary level education is almost free of cost, which finds hardly any parallel in the global communities. In Bangladesh, the higher education, particularly tertiary level education, is almost free because it is government subsidized institutions, and that is why it also offers equal treatment to all the citizens, to all the learners who get admitted into the tertiary level educations. So that is why Bangladesh can take a special pride that the government level and in all stages, Bangladesh offers these equitable facilities and privileges to all the people, irrespective of their religion, their ethnic background, or socio-economic background. Today, it also gives me a very special pleasure to learn that you are collaborating with each other, and that is certainly a learning process for all the entities who will be trying to implement SDGs, because without collaboration we cannot do anything better, we cannot do anything good for achieving anything in right way. It is really very appreciable that Professor Tariq Hassan and his team who are running this wonderful institution, that is Asian Center for Inclusive Education, they are also bringing out a journal. So when they will be holding this conference, there will be some deliberations made by leading educationists, policymakers, and also some other entities, those who will be participating from NGOs, by government bodies and other partners. They will be making their recommendations. We at the university level certainly will be waiting to see your proceedings. Then the government people and the NGOs and some other entities who are working for the educational sector will be able to implement it to achieve sustainable development goals by 2030. With this note, I am very much thankful to the organizing entities, particularly SCEI, for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to share my ideas. And I hope that IER will lead, especially in the field of education and research. And they are also requested, please do conduct some research that will help us to formulate policy, that whenever any adverse situation arises, then the university can undertake policies that will not that will help us in conducting our activities even at the time of adversaries. And also they are requested to assess the post-COVID mode of operation, because in future we may also face this type of crisis that may arise from time to time. At the same time, they are also requested to please make an assessment of the loss that has been incurred during this pandemic, because otherwise we will not be able to understand what to be done in the next phase of our course of action. With this note, once again, I would like to congratulate you all who are participating, and thankful to the organizers for inviting me. And finally, let me have the privilege to declare this 3-day-long conference on equity and inclusive education open. Thank you indeed. Assalamu alaikum. Jai Bangla, Jai Bangabandhu. Long live Bangladesh.